I don't think I don't have enough time to really do anything with it today.
Hello.
Baby J's head's cut off.
Yeah, I'm a little tall for this. I have a tall torso, so I can like squeeze down a little bit, hunch over.
Move the camera.
Oh right. It's almost like there's an easy solution for that, Jason.
It's almost like we have solutions to your problem.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not here very often.
We have the technology.
I'm figuring it out.
We have the technology.
Do we?
It's right there. You just did it. That proves it.
Is that technology or is that just...
proves it. I'm going to go
placement?
with yes. That proves it.
Fair. I'll allow it.
What up?
What up, everyone? Who we got in here? We got Vector, Ghost Hunter, Wad Tomato In, Papa Chicken, Big Bobzilla. Who else we got up here? We got Panic Bomb, Jade.
What do you pop when you're not popping chickens?
That's a great question, actually.
I'm just curious.
Didn't you hear Baby J quit painting forever? What the heck? When did that happen?
I can't even say I started that rumor. That's just a made-up chat BS.
Chat, we got to talk. We have to talk about this. This is
They can't even point fingers and say I did that when you were gone, because I didn't bring that up.
You didn't bring it up?
Those words have never exited my lips.
Do I need to be watching the stream while I'm gone? Just in case.
I mean, it's fun.
Oh, I believe I was driving home from a...
North Dakota?
No.
Oh.
No. I was driving home from eating Korean barbecue when the stream was happening yesterday.
Would have been cooler if you were driving home from North Dakota.
I'm not actually sure about that. Would have been a much longer drive. I would have enjoyed it a lot less. And it wouldn't have been after having a pretty
Have you ever
awesome
driven home from
dinner.
North Dakota?
No.
So can you actually say that it would have been much less fun?
Well.
No, you can't, because you don't know. The reality is you don't know. North Dakota.
I can make a pretty...
The drive home from North
decision.
Dakota could be like that liberating experience you have been waiting for your whole life without even knowing it. I love it. Go, I think that's kind of like the perfect counter to my nonsense. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go with no.
His Korean barbecue code for H-Mart pork?
Yes.
No. The irony of that statement, actually, is that I was very sick this morning.
Because he ate freaking H-Mart pork.
Well,
it was just at somebody's restaurant instead of his own house.
No.
See? Told you.
I actually don't think it had anything to do with Korean barbecue at all. But it very well might have had to do, as far as timing is concerned, with some dumplings that I had for dinner. They were frozen dumplings.
I literally, chat. Can we all band together and as one single voice rise up with our fists in the air and tell Baby J not to eat any more frozen dumplings?
The ones that I had weren't even frozen before. Those ones were ones that I made. And that one, I'll acknowledge, that was probably on me.
That'll teach you.
Yeah. I definitely am not going to be making my own anymore. That's for darn sure.
You support Baby J and all his food choices. You are the devil. You're trying to kill Baby J. Baby J is trying to kill Baby J.
Yeah. I looked at the expiration date this morning, and it was 7/1/2024. So
that is not today.
Yeah, that's correct. Which means I'm going to go throw out a bunch of dumplings and talk to Costco about it, because I'm pretty sure I bought them like a week ago. And there's no reason that I should be expiring very, very rapidly dumplings from Costco. That doesn't make it. Especially frozen ones. One thing if I'm buying like fresh stuff. Another thing if I'm buying like frozen. Like those things should last a good decent while. But yeah, this morning, not great. Not a great wake up experience.
This whole, I have worries because our whole office is filled with people who have got more stomach sickness than any crew of people I've ever met in my life. You guys make, in this office, the literal worst food decisions of any group of humans I've ever known.
That's probably accurate.
Bunch of nerds. Don't know how to feed themselves properly.
I would make the argument that a lot of us know the appropriate way to do it. Whether we choose to do that is a completely different thing.
Okay, that I can probably get behind.
Yeah. I know that I should be eating healthy vegetables and protein that are fresh and not frozen or whatever on a regular basis.
But,
however, that decision does not always get made.
But,
hey, I acknowledge my own failings, okay? It is what it is. We're working on it. Yeah, it's definitely, I don't know. It's yeah, I don't know. Frozen is fine if handled properly. I agree with you 100%. D. Schmidt, Jason, didn't you head the McDonald's smoothie meal nonsense?
Didn't get sick.
Well, I believe somebody threw up.
Okay, different from getting sick.
Well,
they threw up because their brain couldn't wrap themselves around the fact that that's exactly how regular eating goes. Just you're one step ahead of it. We just moved the clock along the path one step and said, here it is. This is how your stomach sees it. It was pretty bad. Some people had really bad drink choices, and that's what changed it all. The fish and strawberry shake took the cake. I think that was Phil.
No, wasn't it the Powerade one that was the grossest?
That was Jacob.
Yeah.
He chose that to be the grossest.
Correct. He did. That's on Jacob.
He was literally trying so that he could have the Man of the Hour badge from having the Powerade and whatever the hell sandwich he got. He got a pretty tame sandwich, though.
Yeah, didn't he have like a regular cheeseburger or something?
I think so.
He just paired it with something horrifically bad.
It was only bad for the McFish.
The McFish.
the filet of fish. That was bad.
I'm so glad they didn't call it the McFish.
It should have been the McFish.
I mean, it's way funnier, like,
shouldn't it be
as a name?
Shouldn't it be the McFish? Everything else is the Mc
sounds
something.
Weird.
Why is it not the McFish?
There is something about McFish that
I guarantee that for a day it was the McFish, and somebody said,
no,
yeah, that's not selling." They did like a focus group, like they do back in the day, and the focus group was like, "Yeah, I can't get past the name."
Yeah. To be fair, though, Ed the Dread, I did not know that they were expired prior to eating them because I had purchased them from Costco like literally a week prior. I didn't look until I woke up this morning, and after sorting everything out in my life, and realizing, oh, there's a 7 and a 1 on this expiration date. This is not good. And then realized that plus the timing made it very likely to be that being the culprit.
He came to me well, he didn't come to me, but I saw him in the office here. He's all, bleh.
I definitely had that feeling this morning.
And what did I tell you? I said it's because you don't treat yourself right and eat the right foods on the weekend. And what was it? He didn't eat the right food on the weekend. I gotta play dad. If I'm the beacon of hope, we have problems. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
That is fair. That's the first time I've heard vomiting described as sorting out my life. Gave away.
Spreading out my life?
No, that is the first time I've heard vomiting described as sorting out my life.
That doesn't even really make sense, does it? Am I missing something?
Well, I said, instead of describing what my morning was like this morning, I just said, after I had sorted my life out in the morning,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that rang true. Like after I got things sorted this morning,
Yeah.
cleared my guts.
Yep. Yep.
It's a good thing Jen's not here. She would not like this discussion.
No, she
Could
would
we
not.
please stop talking about vomit? There are very few things worse in life than throwing up. Just gonna toss that out there.
To be fair, wasn't my problem.
Uh-oh. Dave J was super pooping.
Yeah. Good old rocket ship. Good old rocket ship. Is this a little bit of gold that was missed, or what's
just
the
a little
deal
bit.
with the orange? Okay, cool. This is looking great, by the way.
Thank you. I have a hard time remembering what the hell I did. I had to every day I'm finding more stuff I forgot to do on the gold.
It's
after doing the magnesium yesterday.
It was like dark yellow green, and it looked like orange, burnt orange.
Yeah, burnt orange, and then bronze, and then.
Well, you were doing some green as well on there, like dark yellow green or something.
Oh, I did that already.
Oh, okay, cool. Was that what you were just painting on there?
Yeah.
Oh, it was weird. From here, it looked like dark silver.
That was before. So I have done silver and magnesium mixed already today. And then we already moved over to doing the gold. I'm fast, man. You got to keep up. Fast like lightning. Not really.
Let's see. Mr. Flamingo Paints. Hey, it was great to talk to you at Gen Con. Hello, welcome. It most certainly was. Hope you are enjoying the stream. We're just getting started here, about 15 minutes in. You got a nice hour or so before Jason's got to
I got to split.
Step away.
I got to split at 3:15. Don't let me forget, chat.
I won't let you forget, Jason.
I got to split at 3:15.
I'll give you a warning.
I have to take my car to my house because my car has a problem.
Uh-oh.
And I got to drive clear across town, and I can't do that with my car the way it is.
If you don't mind me asking, what's going on with the car?
It turns out my make and model of car has an issue where there is a particular solenoid that will go bad that will cause your car to overheat.
Uh-oh.
Or throw up the engine temp high before the engine temp is high.
Oh.
Which is, I get why they do that, because it's serious enough that you don't want to continue driving if this part is bad, because eventually it will cause your engine temp to climb.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not causing the engine temp to climb because the engine temp gauge stays where it's supposed to be. But then I turn, it says pull over, turn the car off. You pull over, you turn the car off, and the temp gauge shoots to the red immediately. And then immediately drifts back down to where it's supposed to be. So it has the feel of a computer glitch. But in cars, computer glitches are caused by malfunctioning sensors. So I am not comfortable driving it across town in its current state, which is a bummer. I need to be at my meeting by 4:15. I gotta figure all that crap out. Yay, fun.
Quick question for anyone. Is bright ivory good to tint jade with, or is it too warm? I just don't want a yellow-green to show up.
To tint jade with? You can use ivory for sure. It's preferable to use something like olive flesh or ivory, something that has a little bit of warmth to it, because jade has warmth in it from the yellow. It won't shift it to yellow, right? If you don't have bright jade, that's the answer. Bright jade is by far the better answer. Or even white blue works really well. If you want to keep it cool, you can do that. Up to you. All are suitable choices.
Oh, Mr. Flamingo Paints, I have your models on my desk right now. They are spectacular. We took a look at them while we were at the show, and they're really sweet. This was the cat, Gimli, and the elf bust.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah, they're awesome.
The little boxes we got.
Yep, I have them on my desk right now.
Some of those are super cool.
Yeah, we're currently on the hype train for War Machine right now, but it's definitely on the to do list. We've got them there, and they look great. So definitely looking forward to doing that at some point. Are those something that you make, Mr. Flamingo Paints? I did, in fact, say Cat Gimli. Thank you very much, T. Schmidt.
T. Schmidt's like, did you just say Cat Gimli?
I did.
It is, in fact, a thing.
And yes, I have the license to print and sell them. Okay, cool.
Oh, but you don't sculpt them.
Don't sculpt them, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, those sculpts are super cool.
You can look on Kickstarter for the fellowship of the yarn to find what I'm talking about. Oh, that's so funny. I have to look this up. Fellowship of the yarn. Oh my gosh. Fellowship. Gimli as a pug changed my mind. That would be a great model. Hoosiers. Hi guys. Question about the metallic medium. If I wanted to make a metallic red, like say burnt red metallic, should I mix them or put the metallic medium over it as the next coat? Planning some word bearers.
Both are valid. I would test out how you like the look of. If you mix the colors together, you can, I guess either way you can control them pretty easily, but you're going to get a more desaturated look by putting the metallic medium over the top of the color. Because the metallic medium has a white, milky white kind of feel to it. So I like to try to mix colors first.
These are hilarious, by the way.
It's called the Fellowship of the Yarn?
It's called the Fellowship of the Yarn.
The Furlough-ship?
Yeah. You get things like Cat Delph. That's bad. Well, check it out when you guys get a second. It's hilarious. But it's basically Cat Fellowship models.
All
of
cats?
Them. Yep. Legolas, Gimli, Aragorn.
That's great.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
What do they do for hobbits to make them small cats?
It's tough to see the scale of them. They look about the same size as the regular cats do, but they might just be scaled down a little bit.
Gotcha.
I would say my favorite is there's a Poppin and Mary Purr, where it's the two models together, and they're like one's holding a fish out and the other one's holding a flag and a beer. It's great. They are a bit smaller. Good to know. Really fun though. I am a fan. They're hilarious. You sneaky cat, Christopher.
What do you do now?
Sneaking into the dream room. Looking for something. What's your workup on this purple again, Jason?
I don't remember. Am I supposed to remember these things?
Yeah, yes, Jason.
I am?
Yeah.
Dang it. I don't know.
We're supposed to be able to answer these questions.
I'm using Faded Plum right now.
Well, there you go.
Before that, I used other colors. Everything else was done with royal purple over dark blue, right? Didn't I do dark? No, Payne's gray. I don't remember.
You did Mr. Flamingo paints. We have the small ones in addition to the big ones.
I rely on chat to tell me what I did.
You rely on them for anything? Oh my goodness.
I mean, usually not on purpose, but for paint colors, yes. What did I do, chat?
Flapjack Nickelsack, which is an amazing name. Thought it was dark plum and then royal purple. Dark plum seems like it would be a little too warm.
It was Payne's gray. Because it was the same workup. It was Payne's gray into dark plum into royal purple. You are correct on that.
Okay.
And then into the royal purple, I started mixing in. What did I put in it? White blue. You get the highlight color.
That honestly, that sounds about right. I know your preference for white blue. You like it a lot. I mean, it's also just a great color.
Yeah.
So people should definitely be using it. But I know Jason tends to tag on it a bunch.
We can go back and watch the stream. That's what I'll have to do. I have to admit, like, I don't really pay attention so much to what colors I use. I just kind of play. And then because I've done it on stream, I know that, oh, okay, I'm going to do a whole army like this. Then I just go back and watch the stream. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, hey, turns out we do a great job of making sure that all of our recipes are accessible at all times.
Yeah. See what he said. What he said. That was my plan all along. I do it for you, chat.
I'm excited, by the way. I got the rest of all of the Crick stuff cleaned up and built this weekend.
Cool.
So that's exciting. I say all of it. I got most of it done. I didn't do the medium jack, or the light jack rather. I wanted to wait to make sure that I magnetized everything properly so that they were all cross usable between the two jacks. And obviously the one here was still at the office, so.
Oh, gotcha.
I didn't want to like magnetize it the wrong way and then only like.
Oh, and then not be able to use it the way you need to.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. Okay, Gollum as a hairless cat is good. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Man, you know what I haven't done in ages?
What's that?
Sounds great right now.
What's that?
Watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I haven't watched it in so long. It's like, it's about that time of year where it just needs to happen. One of those things, it's one of those movies that I watch every year.
Every year?
Yeah,
wow, that's some dedication right there.
I mean, I go through the trilogy once a year usually.
That's some dedication. I do it like maybe once every 3 to 5 years.
I love them. I mean,
they're great.
I grew up with them. Like, definitely, they came out at kind of the perfect time in my life where I was what? Like 10, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10 when they started coming out. So, well, I started from 2000s and went backwards. Because the first one came out in 2001, and then they went 2002, 2003, so I would have been 10 when Return of the King came out. Anyways, they came out at like that perfect time where, I have more memories of that time in my life. So, they hold a fond spot in my memory. They're also just good movies.
They're good movies.
Yeah.
I agree.
They still hold up pretty darn well, all things considered. And those movies were made, what? 20 years ago? 22 years ago? That's crazy. Don't get me wrong. Love the Jackson movies. forgot how much Jackson actually cut out and how it changed the story. You know, it's funny because I've never actually read the original books.
What?
Yeah, I've never got through the original books.
What?
Is that a Jordan? Go do that right now.
Go do. Why are you here?
Go. Do not. Why are you here? Well, Jason, I'm here because I need to do my job, and my job says I got to be here doing this.
So now it's my fault you haven't read the Lord of the Rings? I see how this is going, chat.
No. No blame, no finger pointing over here. Just making a statement of can't do it right this second.
You see what they do to me, chat?
Chat, see what I have to deal with?
See what I have to deal with?
No, Tom Bombadil means the movies aren't Lord of the Rings movies. I don't know how that can be true.
Yeah, that's just a gripe that has no merit. Tom Bombadil was a kind of a mistake in my mind. It was a big part of the Fellowship staying alive, but if you took it out, it didn't change anything. All it did was put questions in your head as to, you know, this godlike being, why didn't he just solve all this? And so there's a lot of internet back and forth about why Bombadil wouldn't take the ring and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think Peter Jackson couldn't have put Bombadil in. There was no good way to do it.
No. It would have done the same thing in movie form. Probably even worse.
Oh, like, yeah, totally worse. Because if you'd have spent time in a movie to create all those visuals to only have them not make sense at the end, people that didn't know what they were talking about would have been like, that was horrible. Why did they even have that character in there?
Let's see here. Darth Mullen. The biggest gripe I have is that he changed the hobbits to be goofy teenagers and didn't show them as adults trying to figure out the world outside of their sphere.
They were in the movies a little. They played a lot on that coming of age as a childlike thing,
yeah,
as opposed to them being in command of their part of the world and then just not knowing more about the world at large.
Well, and to be fair, they're really only energetic and outgoing in the first movie. Like, you think about the things that happened to them in the second movie, and you're like, honestly, I would say even after the point where they go through the Mines of Moria, right? After that, everybody is pretty
dour.
Yeah, including the hobbits.
Yeah, once they lose,
and that doesn't really.
Once they lose Gandalf,
yeah,
it goes downhill. But then they
find Gandalf again because I believe.
Well, they get robbed by the orcs.
Yep.
Right.
Well, and Merry and Pippin are the first ones to actually see Gandalf, at least in the movies, after he comes back as Gandalf the White. Because they run into him with Treebeard before off screen. That never happens on screen, but they talk about it. I mean, the hobbits do get high after they get Christopher Lee to trip and fall. Those characters have their own charm and you know, childfulness that I would say is something that even like adults would have, right? That's not necessarily exclusive to being a child, right? Like, adults can have that sort of, you know, I don't know the right term for it off the top of my head, but
like, Merry and Pippin were really annoying in the movies for a while until they weren't, you know?
Yeah.
And I get it. It makes sense. They were young for hobbits in the book, too.
Right.
Being that hobbits live a long time. But yeah, I didn't have any problem with it. I'm not so nitpicky, and I grew up with The Hobbit. It's been beloved to me since I have been me. And it didn't have any negative repercussions, anything that happened in the movies.
Yeah.
I was completely absorbed in them from front to back.
Now,
to the point to where even inconsistencies in like CGI and stuff didn't bother me.
Oh,
even in The Hobbit, I didn't care.
So this is an interesting question because I know that the Scouring of the Shire is like a relatively large piece of the books towards the end, and it all happens afterwards, right?
Yeah, it's because Grimer and Saruman, right?
Because that all happens like after the ring is destroyed, right?
Yes, before they get back, they have to go back and save the Shire.
And I think that it would have been weird from a pacing perspective to have like the culmination of the entire story happen in the movies, and then also have this thing happen, with the Scouring of the Shire. They could have done it as like a spin-off movie, to happen at the end. But I think they made a good choice in kind of not doing it, so 100%. That they could wrap everything up.
It's like the Bombadil thing. It doesn't help the story at all.
Yeah.
There's nothing there that you need to know. They wrapped it up really well. It had a dreamy forever after, good feel to the end of it that may have been a little bit overboard, but I liked it. I can respect it as a movie. You gotta change some things when you put it into the visual format for consumption and to reach a broader crowd. There's a lot of people that have argued that the Scouring of the Shire is, again, like, what did it add?
No.
At some point in time, it feels like just too much.
Mr. Flamingo Paints says, something I always found wild was how old Aragorn was at the beginning. Yeah, he's like 130 or something at the beginning of the series.
He's half elf.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He's one of the Dunedain, right?
Dunedain. Yeah, it's hard in Lord of the Rings to justify all the timing, right? They have all those problems. We've talked about Rings of Power and why it's so horrible because it tries to go the other direction and just kind of strip all that away. Make it seem like everybody's living happily at the same time. But you do have to admit that the Lord of the Rings in general, time is a very hard thing to wrap your head around. Especially when you start talking about the wizards and...
The wizards were always a big piece of that narrative that I found really interesting. I'd love to have heard more about the two that went west. No, east, west.
Oh no, east.
Yeah.
Into the east. The blue, weren't they?
Yeah, they were the blue. The other thing too, to some extent, and this is something that I watched somebody say in an interview the other day that kind of really resonated with me, is that what's the point of making a movie that's a 1-to-1 replica of the book? Now, to some extent, you can make the argument of, well, it's nice to see a visual representation of it, but it's never going to effectively be able to cover all of the things in the time frame that you have. So the story has to change to some extent. The problem is when they change the narrative so much that the meaning of the story and the things that happen don't.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a real slippery slope, right? I think people take advantage of what you just said
100%.
And use it as if that's an excuse to not make it like the book. Correct. Staying faithful to the original story is what gives you the ability to make your movie.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
The original story is what people like, and that's what we see too many people getting away from these days.
Yeah, and to be fair, I agree with you 100%, Jason. I think that a lot of people take that fact and they go, well, that's cool, I gotta make my own version of this thing. And it's like, no, you get to make a faithful representation of this thing that needs to be a lot shorter than the book is, you know. But
yeah, in a perfect world, authors would get right of first refusal on edits for, the final production.
well, and I think generally speaking, when you see authors have more involvement in their works from a visual medium, typically they do better.
Well, and you've got people like Stephen King, who I don't think he really is a fan of a lot of his works. I think he's self-deprecating to some extent, because he will say he approves of things people have done that have completely warped his stories, and then other times say he hates them.
Yeah.
But I can also see that as an artist, that you might say, oh, well, it wasn't my best work. They improved on it because you didn't really like the story, even though it was a hit.
Yeah.
It was a big enough crowd pleaser that they want to make a movie out of it, but you may have hated it.
Yeah.
I see that happen, and I've heard authors talk that way, saying that, yeah, it was not my favorite book, and so they made it even better, and I was really happy with it. When the people that liked his not favorite book, are bummed out. Because, well, that's not even what was in the book.
Sir Nightheart, thank you for the follow. Helm Bender, thank you for the follow. Hello, welcome everyone.
I think Stephen King said that about the Dark Tower movie, that he liked it. He thought it was a unique take on everything. And the rest of us are out here going, what are you talking? Are you smoking crack? But that's like the mouth of God talking, So how mad can you be?
Darth Mullen says, oh God. Get through. 1 second. You know who deserves a medal? It wasn't J.R.R. Tolkien, it was Christopher. I agree. Christopher Masucci deserves a medal.
For what?
It says here, he was able to stay both faithful to his father's vision, yet put it together in such a way that it stood the test of time.
I mean, Christopher Tolkien.
Yeah.
I thought you meant our Christopher.
Well, that was my joke, I was referring to our Christopher. But the Christopher that he was referencing was Christopher Tolkien. Baby J, One Piece question. We just finished the Alabasta arc and are kind of in some filler episodes about the crew members. We're on episode 137. I know you mentioned an episode we need to persevere through to. About when is that? Well, I guess my first question is, are you watching it on like Crunchyroll or Netflix or whatever, or are you watching it via One Piece? Because I have to admit, the first few arcs of that show are pretty rough.
I always love the way he says that. That's one of the famous ones where you're like, if you can just get through the first few seasons, it starts getting good.
Like they're not objectively, they're not bad. They're just long. You're watching it on Hulu? Yeah, I mean, the Alabasta arc is good. It is one of the longest arcs before you start talking about the Wano arc, which is like super long. I would say once you get past Skypia, the show gets on better pacing. Skypia is the last of the like ridiculously long arcs that don't need to be that long. And Skypia is still good. There's a lot of like good information that you get in Skypia. But it is very long. It's like probably 50 episodes too long.
50?
Yeah, oh yeah.
What the?
Bear in mind, these are like half-hour episodes instead of like full TV show episodes. However, still too long. There's a lot of like things that happen during that arc, but they could have skipped like half of them and delivered the same sort of story.
They didn't really move the story forward. They were just things.
Well, and you know, they do that thing where that's very common in like anime and like cartoons and stuff like that, where they have their team. Their team gets split up and they have to fight a bunch of bad guys. And then they spend like 3 episodes on each fight with each bad guy. So like first team member fights first bad guy, takes 3 episodes, and they're like, next team member fights next bad guy, 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And they do that for all the fights, which is like typically like 4 or 5 or whatever. And then after that, they're like, okay, well, there's a couple more episodes, and then we start fighting the big bad. Or in this case, they spend 3 episodes, and then they fight some more people, and then they fight the big bad afterwards. Yeah.
Sounds like a blast.
It's rough.
It's rough.
Yeah. But once you get past Skypia and you get into like Water 7 and his lobby, like that's where the show really starts to pick up. And once you get into Sabaody and you start getting into like the war stuff, like it's really good. It is still a little long in the tooth, but yeah. It definitely lays the groundwork of your appreciation of the show as it gets closer and closer to kind of the. It's funny because I call it the midway point of the series. It's realistically not, when you look at like the total scope of the entire show, but it is. It's like a really big stopping point. It's like a lot of stuff happens, bunch of arc, big war, 2-year time skip, and then the rest of it starts. So, and there's a lot of stuff that happens both during that war arc and during the 2-year time skip that like impacts the rest of the story. So, I'm very excited to continue watching it. What I do is I tend to like watch it in bursts. So I'll like watch an arc and be really excited about that arc and then take a break. And then I'll come back and I'll watch another arc and then I'll take a break. Like I just finished Anakin Skyhumper, we are. So I watched through kind of all of those things up to the big war and the culmination of that, and then I took a break. So I'm waiting to go back and start kind of that the build up after the time skip.
I don't know what they're talking about.
You're the Gen in this discussion.
I have no idea. Silly
you're like
anime
Gen
nonsense. Been around for 80 million years, telling the same dang story.
The story is definitely moving forward, and it is almost done. What that means, I have no idea. One Piece gets great after the first 60 episodes. Try 250. Not that those episodes are bad, but the ones afterwards, definitely better. Early episodes are kind of like Dragon Ball Z. The fight happens really fast in 1 or 2 episodes, but the first 13 episodes about why this fight matters to the character, yeah. Well, the problem with Dragon Ball Z is you get 3 episodes of Goku powering up and screaming.
Is that true?
It's kind of a meme. It is definitely like. So here's the thing about Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball episodes are. So the whole episodes are about 28 minutes long. And about 7 minutes of it is recap. About 18 minutes of it is actual content. And then the rest of it is all outro. So you really only get about 15 to 18 minutes of actual functional information in Dragon Ball Z episodes, which is why they made Dragon Ball Z Kai, which is a edit that kind of pulls everything together. Which, funny enough, they're actually doing for One Piece as well. They're re-releasing it as an edit to make it shorter. Who knows when that's going to happen or when that's going to start airing, but it's a thing that I remember hearing about. Once I heard 2-year time skip, I knew it. Marineford arc, the big war, is my favorite arc. It's really good. It's very long. It's supposed to end by 2032.
One Piece?
Yeah.
Good God. Like, can I ask, like, what's the premise
of the show? The whole premise of the show is that there is a pirate who kind of who traveled the known world and uncovered lots of secrets about history, because there's secrets about history and stuff like that. And he ends up getting captured and killed in front of a bunch of people. He gets executed. And as he's getting executed, he basically tells all the people in the crowd, because he's like huge, like really well known and really famous figure. And he kind of tells everybody in the square about, his treasure and stuff is all out there in at the One Piece, is what he calls it. And he kind of like starts this era of pirating where all of these people go out and they try and find his lost treasure, et cetera, et cetera. And
how many episodes are in this show?
I want to say it's close to 1,200.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something. If you have a treasure map and it takes you 1,200 episodes to find the treasure,
there is no map.
Go home.
There is no map.
Doesn't matter. Go home. Go home. Forget it ever happened. Tell your grandkids you were a fireman. It's fine.
There is definitely no map. He gave no context. He gave no information other than saying...
Anakin says, the One Piece is real!
Yeah. He was just like, hey, all of my stuff is at this place called One Piece. Or the treasure is called the One Piece. It's not really clear.
It's not really clear.
Yeah, it's not really clear. He's like, hey...
So really, it's a MacGuffin that doesn't have to have a definition so they can make money on 1,200 episodes. And card games and everything else.
1,000% correct.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So it really is no story. There's some characters that do some things.
I would say that the story is about the Luffy and his crew, and their stories about their adventures as they go running around hunting after
the One Piece.
The One Piece. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what the story is about. And the arcs are largely based around them traveling to an island and all of the things that happen while they are at that island. So all the arcs are named after the island, basically.
Oh, gotcha.
So like Skypia is like a sky isle, or like collection of islands in the sky. So their ship gets like blown up into this like floating sea in the sky. And yeah, so the real story is all the friends they made along the way.
And the friends we made along the way.
Natos is so funny. The little 1,200 episode show is a job, not a leisure time and time entertainment. How do you even? It's
gonna say it sounds like that for you guys. It sounds like they're making that into a job for you as the watchers.
I mean, it's a thing that you can watch casually over a really long period of time, and it's, there's no rush to finish it or to get caught up.
Sure.
Like I'm in no rush to get caught up to the 1,200 episodes. I'm like 450 episodes in. But
that's
like
crazy.
the bits of it that I am watching, I do enjoy.
That's good.
So, I mean, I also play the game, so there's, the card game, so there's that. And my interest in the game, gets reinforced by my interest in the show and the
sure.
IP.
No, that's good. When an IP grabs you and makes you pay attention, it's cool. Yeah. No one would argue that.
Jason would think that the main character is ridiculous.
Absolutely I have tried to look at things about that. All the guys here play the card game. I've tried to pay attention to these silly looking characters. I don't come from an age where that type of cartoon is interesting to me.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It doesn't grab me, I should say. It's not that I wouldn't find it interesting, because I can find interest in anything.
Sure.
But at first look, it has nothing that I'm into. I don't like pirates.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like pirates. I just don't care. They've never intrigued me.
Yeah.
And so it loses me on the pirate thing. So, there's just a lot of those things where I'm like, yeah, it doesn't really have any winning conditions for me. Then I see some of the art for the characters, and I'm like, seriously?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
What the hell is this show?
It's ridiculous.
Like a dude with like a sawfish nose.
Oh, Arlong? He's a fish man.
Oh, sure.
Yep. He's a fish and a man. There's also a.
Chris, do you prescribe to the world of fishmen?
I do not.
Christopher's in here doing stuff, so I'm including him in the conversation.
I mean, I have to say the live action is not bad. I actually enjoyed watching the live action.
Well, that's right. I forgot that they did a live action. I've only
Which-
really ever like looked at the cartoon, although I've seen ads and stuff for the live action.
The live action's pretty solid.
Really?
It is weird. I mean, it's weird from my perspective because I know like where the show is going, and I'm like, how the heck are they going to make this work? Because there's so many weird things that you would never think are going to translate super well into like a live action form. Like for one, the main character is made out of rubber.
He's made out of rubber?
Yeah.
Say what?
Yeah. So okay. So I'm a quick story time.
I don't know that I can handle this, Jordan.
It'll be take 2 seconds. It'll take 2 seconds.
Jordan, I don't know if I can handle this.
There's
Jordan producer,
Will you hold my hand, Christopher? I don't know if I can handle this.
Jordan producer is a menace.
there's a thing in this world. There are these mysterious and mystical fruits called devil fruits. Devil fruits. And if you eat one, you either die, you explode, or it gives you like weird magical powers. And Luffy ate one of these fruits when he was a kid, and it turned him all rubbery.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it.
I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you should. Also, funny thing, if you eat a devil fruit, you can't swim anymore.
What?
Yeah, weird thing, huh? Exactly.
There's a pirate that can't swim?
Yes, anybody who eats devil fruit can't swim.
That seems doubly bad.
Yeah, especially in a show about pirates, where you're like traversing the sea. You know, seems like a problem.
Huh.
No, it's definitely intentional. It is weird. It's not exactly that they can't swim. It's like the water like saps their energy or something. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, I love it. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Show's weird, but enjoyable.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Swimming is hard when there's only open ocean. It's very spooky. Honestly, I would be terrified. If I were stuck on open ocean, nothing around me, I would be freaking the heck out pretty hard.
Going diving off a boat in open water is a totally different life-changing experience.
Yeah, terrifying.
When they're like, okay, over the side, you're like, no.
Yeah.
No.
I'd
no,
like
no,
to
no.
stay here, please.
No. I'm perfectly safe in this boat that I already didn't like.
Mr. Flamingo Paints, can you explain hockey? Sort of.
Knives on your feet.
Not quite. Hockey is the way for characters that don't have devil fruit powers to be powerful.
Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not.
That's literally the MacGuffin
What?
for that.
It's called hockey?
No, HAKI.
Oh. I'm like, no, hockey is where you put blades on your feet, you
Yeah.
skate real fast.
Yep. Yeah, hockey, not hockey. See, said the same thing. It's funny. Yeah, hockey is your will manifest in physical form to some extent.
He's just making stuff up now, Chad.
I mean, that's true. That's what that's the thing. I mean, if we want to get really deep into it, there's technically 3 types of hockey. Chris is like, please shut
Yeah,
up.
we really don't.
Please shut up.
So your nerd is showing.
Hey, my nerd is out there for the world to see. Yeah, Camel Triber, exactly. That's also very true. I'm Ryan Wallace. I'm getting sucked into Disney's The Descendants shows now, thanks to my kids. So I don't have a right to judge premise of shows anymore. Fair. Baby J, you are a hero. Thank you. I may not be the hero that everybody deserves, though.
No, you're definitely the hero we deserve. You may not be the hero we want.
Fair. Fair enough. I try my best.
No, I love that stuff. You know, the older I get, being in nerd culture especially, it gives you a good vision on like the differences between generations and what you get exposed to as a kid.
Oh, 100%.
Like the cartoons you grow up on and stuff. Like I don't identify at all with like Dragon Ball Z and that stuff. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm like, what in the world is this?
Dragon Ball Z is great.
But yeah, but there's a lot of people from you guys' age that are like, I grew up on that. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is, you know, because it wasn't a thing.
Yep. Anakin Skyhumper, I am at the end of Marineford. I have not watched any of the stuff that happens kind of between the time skip. Like literally right after the end of the, yeah, all that stuff. The same place as your wife. Nice. It's a good stopping point. It's I needed a break. That it was a lot. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is an interesting show. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's the fight scenes are definitely the only reason that people got really excited about that show, because they have some cool fight scenes. They have a lot of cool fight scenes.
It's like, you know, having to be on social media as much as we are due to advertising and all that stuff. And there's so many memes and stuff based on Dragon Ball Z, and they're just I just don't have the willpower to go learn anything about it. You know, as an old guy in the nerd world, there's just some things that I've grown accustomed to that I'm like, yep, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just missing out. I won't ever know. Vegeta.
The Vegeta. God, those characters are ridiculous.
It seems like super over the top weirdo, but it's the same thing that makes like WWF so appealing to people that grew up with it.
That's true, because like that, I got no interest in any of that, but I never grew up with it. It's really interesting. I think there are definitely good animes for lots of different people. Like I think even you yourself have watched Ghost in the Shell, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not immune to anime. I grew up with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Blue Submarine, whatever, number 6 or whatever it was, and you know, tons and tons of stuff. You know, at the age that I was into all of that, it was Macross.
Yep. Yeah, I watched Macross. Well, I didn't watch the original.
Spaceship Yamato.
Yep.
What did they call it? It was called G-Force, but it was something else. I forget what the Japanese name for it was. Kiop and Jason, and they formed they all flew different spaceships. It was another Voltron-y kind of thing.
I definitely what did I grow up with? I grew up with Gundam. I grew up with Yu-Gi-Oh! I grew up with Bleach, Naruto. It's funny, I didn't actually watch One Piece until much later in my life. It was a thing I largely avoided because I was like, why the heck am I going to watch that show that's 1,200 episodes? Why would I even bother? And then I started playing the card game, and then I got convinced to do it. And it was just like, and I like it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. I do really like Gundam though. The Gundam series is really interesting.
Gundam has some unique ones, and then it's got like a bunch of crap.
Oh yeah, it does have a lot of crap. It's funny though because I just started watching the original like show.
Yeah.
The original Gundam show. And there's a Hulu show that they made much more recently, which is called Mobile Suit Gundam Origin.
Yeah.
Which is actually really good. And that's basically just kind of like the origin of the two parties and why they hate each other and why they're at war, etc. And it kind of like touches on the backstory of the main protagonists on both sides.
Yep.
Which is really cool. It's a lot of that information that, from what I understand, you don't really get in the
real show just throws you into combat.
Yeah.
It throws you into warring nations.
Yep.
And then eventually you get to have characters that you feel like you're on their side, whether you're Zaku or...
I definitely have a lot more appreciation for Zaku now, which I never had before. But I didn't start with this one. I started with the first one I ever really watched was Gundam Seed, which I do like. It is funny though, because it literally is exactly one for one a ripoff of the original show. Like almost 100% to a T, starts exactly the same way, same premise, sort of, in a different universe.
That's the way they get away with that.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm like, I don't pay attention because they lost me, but like Escaflowne, right? And that was great. And then you had like, what is it? Evangelion, right?
Evangelion's great.
Evangelion's
Very
great,
weird.
but can somebody please explain to me why we need like 14 different tellings of that story?
There are, what?
There's the OG
3.
one that just came out that was Neon Genesis volumes 1 through whatever, 4.
So those are the new ones. There's
No, the OG one.
So the
it
OG
was just
one's
episodic.
is the show.
Yeah, it was episodic.
Yeah. So that's it had one season, and it was like, I don't know, 20 episodes.
Each one was a different angel.
Yeah.
Or a situation between angels.
And then
Now they've released it as like a trio of movies.
There's 4.
Or 4, because one of them's like 0, 0. Or 0, then 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
I
not a
don't
4,
remember.
I don't think. I think it's 0, 1, 2, 3. Or 3.1, 2.1, I don't know.
Yeah,
That's what I don't understand, is what exactly are they doing? Because I watched it, and it's different.
So what they did is they basically, the first 2 movies are the first parts of the show, which are pretty faithful, not quite 1-to-1, but they kind of do a lot. They're the rebuild movies. Yeah, that's what they were called. They're definitely different from the original show. The original show and the original movies, because there are the original movies as well, which are the different. Because there's the show, there are the original movies, and then there's the rebuild movies. And the original show is the best for watching, in my opinion, that original telling. And it's freaking weird. And also feels very biblical.
Yeah. It is very God and man.
Yeah.
I thought the originals were fantastic.
Hmm?
I tried to go back and watch this new compilation of stuff they've done, and it's just a retelling, but with a different premise. It's like they changed the whole story, but it's the guy that created it that's doing it. So I just don't have any insight into why are you messing your story up, dude?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and do some reading to figure out why exactly he went back and did the reboot or the rebuild movies.
It's not like it's I mean, maybe he's saying it's at a different time. It's the same characters. It's the same premise, same setup.
It's just a retelling of the story.
Same angels.
The 4th movie takes place like after the events of all the rest of the stuff. Like it's weird. It's really weird. The whole story is just different. Doesn't end the same way. It's bizarre.
That's one of my favorite animes. Obviously, the original Ghost in the Shell, Ninja Scroll, stuff like that. So I was big into like Lone Wolf and Cub.
Lone Wolf and Cub is great. That book series, it's a book series or just a book?
Books, yeah.
Really good.
And there is a live action series that is actually pretty good. It harkens back to like Seven Samurai type stuff. That is really good. It skips a bunch of the story, but it's pretty good. It's 20, if I'm not mistaken, in the US release, in the original small format, I think it's 28 issues. Because it's those like quarter size manga.
What's up, Fireark? How you doing? Wad says he did the original when he was going through some stuff. Maybe he wanted to redo it with a different mindset. Then again, also dollar bills, y'all. Yeah, fair. For After Ever, I woke up at 6 a.m. to watch Star Blazers every morning when I was 10 to 12 years old.
Yeah. I'd always hoped that Star Blazers or one of those shows, Robotech, it was called over here, Macross, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was always hoping those were the after-school cartoons, and they rarely were.
Oh.
And then every now and then on Saturday morning, it would be like the early cartoon.
Jason's 310.
Huh?
It's 310.
310. Dang it.
Thoughts on Yu Yu Hakusho? I watched most of it. It was fine. It's got a, it's funny because when I was younger, I did not appreciate older shows like that, and now that I'm older, I appreciate more of those shows now than I did before. So I'm watching more of the older shows now than I did when I was younger, just because when I was younger, all I cared about was like cool fancy animation, and now I have an appreciation for the old animation. And also some of the storytelling that's just really good from old shows. Fireark, hello. Hope everything is doing well. Everyone is doing pretty well. Jen's not feeling great, so she's unable to be here today. I am here, assuming the producer position, at least for the next 4 minutes, until I take over the painting.
Don't let him do it, Chet.
Don't let him do it.
All right, that's pretty good. I got most of the purple done. Highlighted, at least.
I have not, Panic Bomb. Boy, I am standing, Jen.
Ghost Hunter, I do. Thank you very much. Your best All Might, I am here. What? What was that?
God.
Vampire Hunter D. I saw the anime. I have a lot of crazy manga in my library. It was like when the Korean manga started showing up over here. I have some really crazy horror manga from them that's like weird, psychological, feels like it would be better as a movie than on the page kind of stuff.
There's some absolutely fantastic horror anime out there. There's some really good stuff.
There's some really nutty stuff.
Weird stuff. Lots of weird stuff, that's for sure.
You freaking love Vampire D? What, are you asking me? No, I don't know. Junji Ito? Maybe? What does this person write?
Junji Ito? Berserk is the best manga I've read. I have not read it. I tried to watch it. I've been told that reading it is the best way to do it. So
Nothing beats Akira. Best manga ever.
I liked Akira. It was alright.
Best manga ever. Period. No argument. Don't want to hear you argue about it.
I got nothing.
It's made less by the movie, but the movie's still good.
I think the movie did a lot of really interesting things from an animation perspective. Aside from that, fine. I'm a bit dour old school guy. Darth Mullen, we love you anyways.
Dour old school guy. That's my title. You can't have that.
Ryan Wallace, y'all want some weird stuff? I fell into the slice of life romance anime, and oh my god, life is not the same.
So let's not go there. Not trying to go there.
Oh, that's funny.
Before I head out, I am I started on my
Oh, it's so cool.
my
So cool.
whatever these guys are called. Chimera Shadow Flame Shard, something like that.
That is exactly what they're called, I'm sure.
Shadow Flame Shard. So I undercoated. I got some magentas and yellow turning into orange, and then royal purple going on here that I will use as my base coat. I'm actually going to be doing this guy in jades and like warm grays.
Oh, nice.
So, but I wanted some cooler colors underneath, like the magenta and the royal purple, and then I warmed it up with some yellow from the top to be underpainted colors. So we'll see have some fun with that. See if it works the way I want it to. The manga for Air Gear. You're gonna go way over my head. Uzumaki, I have. Yeah, I have
Air Gear was
Uzumaki,
cool.
and it's great. I actually remember that one, so that's in my library. That's one of the ones that got me into reading that stuff. Spirals. Yeah, I think there's one that's just called Spiral, right? Record of Low Dose War. I remember that as an anime. I feel like.
The OG Japanese D&D manga that wasn't D&D.
What is SCP?
No idea.
Oh, Uzumaki is the Spiral one. Gotcha. That would make sense. Yeah, because like, what is it, Ringu or whatever, all those movies that came out for a long time that were those weird horror, psychological horror flicks. The Ring. What's the one where the chick crawls out of the well on the VCR?
Oh, The Ring?
Is that The Ring?
That's Ring.
Okay, that's The Ring. Yeah, that was the freaky. That's the other manga that I have.
Here, I'm gonna transfer over to the desk really quick while you're sorting this out.
That is Ring. Yeah. Ringu. Yeah. I have all that stuff. I can't remember the time in my life when I was out buying that stuff, but it was good. So I still have it all in the collected editions. I never got any of it serially, but. Alrighty, gang. I'm leaving you. Say hello to your little friend. Baby J will take over.
Hi,
Bam.
everyone. Hello. Oh, it's so bright over here.
See you mañana. Well, it's very dark over in the corner.
Yeah, I know. Bye, Jason.
Say ya.
See you tomorrow. All right, everyone. I'm here. I have arrived. Oh, peace out, Girl Scout. Nice. Alrighty, let me clean up my space just a little bit. Oh, we ain't got no water in my water cup. Great. Beautiful. Excellent. Stupendous. This is a problem. Ooh, that's another problem. So we're gonna get this to be functional again. We're not ready to work on smog yet. We got the projects we're working on right now. Let me go grab something really quick. I'll be right back. Or actually, do this. Can you do me a favor?
Yep.
No, I got the water cup sorted.
Oh, that was my fault.
It's all Chris's fault, dang it.
You heard him.
On my desk,
Yeah.
there's a white box that has some models in it. I want to get those primed. So if you bring them in here, I'm going to prime them. Hiya. So I have an idea, folks. We're going to continue working on my cricks. Why, thank you, sir.
I'll take those primes. Are you using any of these?
None of those. Black I will be.
Got it.
Alright. Scooch that out of the way. Let me get this here. That there. Okay. We got all these fun things we got here, chat. This is the character jack. We've got these cool Spectre guys. We got this one guy. Yeah, that guy. Forecaster. Last of those guys. And then we got our not named Warjack. This guy has magnetized bits. I can put all these pieces on. They're nice and snug in there. I did come prepared. I just was not prepared to not paint. Cool. We're gonna get some of this stuff primed up. And I'm thinking one of the things I was doing last week was getting all this kind of silver trim sorted out. And one of the things I'm thinking about doing is instead of doing it like this, doing it more like doing it more like this. What do you think? Whoa. Hey, Chris? One sec, guys. I just want to make sure there's nothing wrong with the camera. I zoomed in and it made a real weird screeching sound. Seems to be working okay.
It might have been. Might have skipped it. That
Oh,
happens.
okay. Okay, cool.
Sound like. Yeah, you're good.
Great. Whew.
Oh. Okay.
You know what the problem is? Christopher to the rescue. He's the man with the plan and the knowledge of how to fix the things. Jordan broke it, Chris? Indeed. Papa Chicken, you're sort of right, actually. Cool. Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry to, like, call you over here and
No, that was.
Okay. I'm gonna turn on the. It's tough. I really like this. What do you think, chat? This or that? Maybe I'll try one and see how it goes. This is definitely cool. I like this. Got that rustiness to it. It's the funny thing is it's not even really copper. It's like it's light bronze that I've done a bunch of like brown and silver washes too. I can also give this a little bit of a dry brush really quick to see how I like that finish now that this is kind of in a good spot for it. Find the silver real quick. There we go. Give it a nice little dry brush, pull out those edges. It's not too bad. It definitely needs. Oh, I guess I haven't done the rest effects, right? That's like the big thing here that I haven't done. Okay, so I'll do those really quick and we'll see how we feel. Because it might be worth trying it. Hi, Chuck. How's the Adventures in Machine Shops today? Are people all alive? I hope. We clarify that. I hope everyone's alive and not fired. I'm thinking about going back to doing black on this instead of the, I don't know. This magenta's freaking me out. Hi, Charles. My Tuesday's going great. How about you? We also only have about half an hour. I'm not going to prime this stuff. Not going to prime it yet. We're going to go through. We're going to do this. What do you mean miss the purple warjack? I'm alive, wishing I was painting that model. Charles, did you see the purple Signar? Jason was here not 10 minutes ago. Looking pretty spicy. Yeah, right? And then he's got this started off. So, can't let him outdo me. Oop. Here we go. You've been busy showing off new stuff in Warjacks. Hello? Why you no call me, friendo? Where's my love? Where is my love? No new Crick stuff yet. Soon. Ugh. You call me the day. The day of. Because I gotta order some of that stuff. You out of here, Mr. Flamingo Paints? See you later, bud. Nice to see you again. I might switch it to purple, to be honest. In fact, I think I'm going to. We'll do that. We'll do that today. I'm gonna try painting this black, and we're gonna paint this purple, so we can match the army. Yeah, I gotta start with some royal purple. Royal purple. Where is my royal purple? It's gone. No. Where is my royal purple? What the heck? Somebody been stealing stuff from me? This is a problem. Let's try. I have an idea. The black. One of the things that I was noticing that was kind of driving me nuts about this color was how similar it was to Protectorate, because they have that kind of like same maroon purpley accent color to honestly a very similar workup to the white. So I'm gonna try this in like a brown black maybe, and we'll see how that looks. Because I also want something that'll look good when we have this much cloth, right? Because this is a lot of cloth. And like one of the Banes or the Lich Lords. I think a Crick's Bane. Oh, actually that would be really good. Okay. I know what I'm doing, folks. I know what the plan is here. The plan of attack. The Furies, yep. Yeah, Charles, I got it all built. I even have it all magnetized, man. Look at that. It's all cool. Ready to go. What do you mean you're so jealous of me? You have all the same models. You're still building. I built it all this weekend. What's your excuse? So, Charles, the plan, and everybody else as well, is I'm going to do gray on this cloak, but it's going to be the old Crix gray, which it was basically, honestly, kind of just a buildup of what our warm grays are right now. And I think that will look really good. And it will work better for the things like the Furies and other Crixy stuff. It takes out Notepad, prepares to write down recipes. Honestly, it's probably going to be really, really simple. I think if it ends up being what I expect it to be, it'll probably be black into dark warm gray, and then dark warm gray plus by itself a little bit of warm gray, and then we're going to see from there. All right, so we're going to take out dark warm gray, and maybe a touch of do we want to do I want to add a little bit more green? That's kind of where I'm trying to figure out. Let me switch over to this. Turn this blue into purple real quick. Or plum, rather. This is our dark plum. The base for his purple. I'm going to skip the step where he starts with Payne's Gray, because on something that's this, it's going to be really beat up and weathered. It's not going to need to have that layer to it. It'll have that complexity anyways. Are they? Where are all of your coworkers? Are they out scooter ganging? Ah, man, I think they wish they were. Jason's got a meeting at like 4:15, but he's got to go to the dealership first to get his car looked at. And Jen's not feeling great, so she's out. Gabe and Christopher are busy, so they're unable to help. It's all your little old lonesome baby J over here. Yeah, I think if I had kept this, it would have been too similar. Even with all the highlights and everything, I think it would have just been too much. The best part is I can use his exact same recipe. Oh, it's gonna be so good. All right. So, dark warm gray. Now that there's nobody to disagree, I can say that I think it's awesome you try cool recipes. Well, thank you. I just like, Jason has his own way of messing around with stuff. I have my own way with messing around with stuff. If I don't like it, I'm not afraid to paint over it. I do change my mind frequently, but that's in service to finding a better solution. So we're mixing up, this is about 50-50 warm gray, dark warm gray rather, and full black. This is going to be really, really, really subtle. Hardly even noticeable. Once it fully dries, you'll be able to see it a lot better. This is one of those things where kind of the property of having the whole black be super matte means that it has a tendency to dry pretty gray. So we're just kind of feeling that out a little bit. There you can see it's starting to dry. We're just going to go pure dark warm gray. I think these will also make them look a little bit more sinister as well. We're going to be using a lot of texture here to try and obscure some of these changes in highlight and shadow. You guys can kind of see where I'm going with this. Yeah, I like that a lot. Then I can also kind of, once I highlight this a little bit more, I can stain it with some more brown so it feels like it's all dirty and gross. do a lot of effects on it to air it up. Some mud on it as well. Charles, I haven't gotten around to figuring out what the basing is going to look like. That's one of the things I'm still kind of working out. But it's something I'm definitely working on. Yeah, I think that looks really good. And then we're going to go to warm gray. We're going to mix 50-50 of this. Thin it down a little bit. Nice bit more contrast, a little bit of texture on the cloak. Paints up really fast too with this gray recipe. Does not take a lot of time to get that bit of brightness on there. A little bit of riches. Boom, feeling that, nice. And then we're going to take pure warm gray. The intention is definitely for this to read as gray, but to have it be really dark as it gets towards the base. Using this texture to highlight it, gives it that really nice rough finish. Jordan, looking for a best painted award at your next War Machine event? Follow these simple steps to paintbrush glory. Yeah, it's simple. It's got a little bit of that kind of roughness to it. And then we can even do something like taking what do we? Oh, I like this. Take a little bit of caramel brown. We're gonna do something that's a little weird here, guys. We're gonna over thin this. So one of the things about over thinning paint is it gets a little dusty and gritty because you're breaking down the connections between the bonding layers of the pigment, and it causes the pigment to kind of clump together a little bit. And we're going to use this to our benefit to do some weird kind of like dustiness. In parts of this model. Maybe I thinned it all too much. Here. There we go. This will kind of give you the appearance of dust on the edge of the cloak. Yeah, I think that looks cool. And then what we can do, take our coal black, plus a little bit of glaze and wash medium. If I can find it. If I can find it. Or, because we took that's about right. Keeps, yeah, I like that way better than I like that. Keeps the rust and the darkness a lot more of the focal point, which is great. Well, let me take for satin. Add some dark lines around some of the areas of the cloth here. Yeah, there we go. Helps pull it out a little bit. How different is what you're doing with the caramel brown, something like a glaze or filter? So the idea is it's actually very different. It is a filter, but you're doing a bad filter on purpose, right? Because normally a filter you'd want to have it go over and be a nice kind of semi-opaque coverage layer that will just kind of tint the colors a little bit for you. In this specific instance, the goal wasn't to get a nice smooth layer. It was actually to create texture on the bottom of the cloth. Like you can see down there at the bottom, that just looks like dusty old cloth that's been, wet and then dried again, etc. And we're gonna, in the last like 5 minutes of stream here, we're gonna mix up a little bit of noosh. And a little bit of orange oxide. What we did on the other one. I'm gonna throw in some of this orange oxide into areas where we'd be getting some of that stickiness. Just kind of using my finger to wipe away some of that excess. We can be really controlled with how we apply it when using a brush. Aloha! I'm here just in time, I see. Yeah, Source, you made it right on time. Starting to wonder if I'm not just over thinning your glazes. You very well might be. Yeah, Source. You want to avoid using black as much as you can. I'm actually using black because I'm painting a bunch of stuff that is black around it, so it works. But the reason you don't want to use black is because you want those recesses to have a little bit of color to them usually. But yeah, this effect is great. Noosh is such an amazing tool. For giving you this really, really slick weathering effect. Let's see here. So did you just start this in this stream? All I need to do is go back on YouTube. Yeah, Source, if you go back to, it wouldn't be yesterday, it would be last week. I started it last week, and I'm finishing at least this half of them on stream today. Yeah, there we go. Nice and dirty. Darkens it up a little bit. The other thing we can do as well is we can take some of this full black, thin it down into not quite a wash, but thin it down a bunch. And we can go through here. And we could shade some of these areas. To darken them up even more. Probably want to do this before you do the rest of it, but gives you a little bit of that kind of sootiness too. Also helps that gray kind of pop away from the metals. It was great. You want that new orange paint bad? It's gonna be coming up here pretty quick. Oh, you meant specifically the black line? Oh, I just did it earlier on stream today. So you guys can see what that rust effect looks over here, and we'll switch it over. That's it without, right? With and without. It's like totally different. The other thing you can do too is you can take a brighter orange. So I like to use actual just straight up orange for this. And then mix a little bit of Noosh into that as well. We can pick out some small areas here. Put in a little bit brighter orange. All right. I think that's going to be it today, you guys. It's 4 o'clock. I got a bunch of stuff we got to get taken care of for the rest of the day, which is technically over. We're going to be back on this tomorrow. We're going to finish this guy up. We're going to do a little bit of a once-over on this guy. We're going to clean up that kind of top part right here, which is a little bit of a mess. And then we're going to move on. This model is Excerptor. It's Exceptor. It is a War Machine model from the new Crix release. It's in one of the 2 pre-release boxes for War Machine and Hordes for Crix. And you can check them out on Steamforge's site. He's got a weird name. It's like Excerptors Severus or something like that. I haven't gotten a chance to like play with him in a game or anything, but this guy's cool. Oh yeah, 100%. The gray was the way to go. Hey, thank you for sharing your attention and your love. We appreciate that so much, bud. Disruptor Eviscerus. That's what it was. All right, everyone. I'm going to go throw some links into the chat before we shut everything up for the night. Let me throw these out here. We'll talk about them as I put them up. We have the store link. Make sure you guys check out our online store where you can pick up all the fancy paints that we've been using here today on stream, as well as any of the tools, paintbrushes, and things that we've been using as well. You guys can also find a lot of that stuff in your local game store at your FLGS's. You can check out the FLGS store locator to find a store near you where you can buy all of our stuff. Helmbender, thank you. We appreciate you being here. Thank you for the follow as well. Let's see here. We've got the Discord link. So many of you might be familiar with our Discord already. If you are not, come join us. It's a bunch of fun. We do all sorts of stuff on our Discord every month. Discord challenges, book talk, nerd talk, painting talk, all sorts of stuff. It's a great place to hang out and, just have a 4,600 other nerds who are interested in similar things to you all get excited about painting and stuff. And then we have our YouTube link, which is a great place for you to go to find either all of our old streams. So we stream on YouTube and we stream on Twitch. You can find all of our restreams or our old past streams on the live tab in YouTube. You can also find all of our short video content on the shorts tab, which is going to be all sorts of little tutorials and tips and things like that, as well as our longer form video content that you can find in our regular thread. We're going to find somebody to raid you guys, so hang out here for a little bit. We're going to find somebody to have you guys take the rest of your evening off into. Let me see if I can make this work. But yeah, you guys have been awesome. Don't forget we stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That'll be the way it is for a little bit. It will switch towards the end of the year, but we'll talk about it more then. If you're new here, make sure to drop a follow. It's totally free. And get updated when we go live, and especially on those fun weekend streams where we may or may not come in for a couple of hours and paint some cool stuff. But we're going to find somebody to raid you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today, and we will see you all tomorrow.